In this fifth Sunday of Lent, Jesus is describing to us his Paschal mystery, and as well setting forward probably the most challenging request he has for us in following him. Now, our gospel today begins with some Greeks asking Philip the request that they want to see Jesus, and the direct words are, "Sir, we wish to see Jesus." Now, just to begin with, one, it's important to take note that these were not Jews who were asking to see Jesus, but rather Greeks. And so it further reinforces the idea that Jesus did not come on earth just for the Jews, but really to be a light to all the nations. Now, next, the Greeks asked that they wanted to see Jesus. Now, what does that really mean? The word see goes beyond just the visual seeing, but they really wanted to know him. They wanted to know his heart. They wanted to know all about him. And really, there was a longing there, a longing of their hearts. And just as St. Augustine described in his Confessions, our hearts are restless until they rest in thee. And this was the same for these people here. They really wanted to know Jesus. They longed for him, and they wanted to rest in the knowledge and the love of who he was. Now, Jesus, instead of inviting the Greeks in to say, "Sure, come and sit by my side," instead he challenged them. And right from the beginning, he went on to describe his Paschal mystery by using, as he often did, a parable. Now, this is the parable of the grain of wheat. "Unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains just a single grain. But if it dies, it bears much fruit." And so Jesus was really describing, what was coming in the next few days for him. And he's saying, well, if you really want to follow me, this is what it's all about. I have to die and rise again in 3 days. And so Jesus was explaining the whole Paschal mystery to these people around him, saying that the Son of Man must go through this suffering and this pain in order to be freed 3 days later and rise from the dead. And in doing so, Jesus is really taking on the suffering and the oppression of all the world. And in his resurrection is going to be the freedom of all of us. So the freedom of the people at the time that were suffering and oppressed, living under Roman occupation. But also today, he is freeing us from our suffering, from our oppression, from the things that weigh us down. And he's challenging us. He goes on to say, "Those who love their life lose it, and those who hate their life in this world will keep it for eternal life. Whoever serves me must follow me, and where I am, there will be my servant also." So in this, he's telling us, if you really want to know me, if you really want to love me and rest in my heart, you have to do just as I have done. And so Jesus, in this fifth Sunday of Lent, is asking us to die with him. Not a physical death. He's not asking we will eventually die, but what Jesus is asking us to do is really die into ourselves. We need to let go. If we really are wanting to know and love Jesus and follow him, we need to let go of a lot of the things that are holding us back. So let go of any anxieties we may have, of any judgments that we may have, of any ill will or feelings that we may have. And it's interesting that this gospel is on this fifth Sunday of Lent. This fifth Sunday is also Solidarity Sunday, Development and Peace's campaign for Share Lent. And so let's take a look at our own lives and say, in order for us to give life to others, what do we need to die to? In order for us to really live in solidarity as brothers and sisters around the world, especially those in the global south, well, what do we need to die to? Our selfishness. We need to be just a little bit less uncomfortable in our very comfortable lives, and then perhaps we can live more in solidarity with our brothers and sisters around the world. It's a challenge that Jesus is putting forward to us on a daily basis. Firstly, how are we to die to follow him, to truly fall in love with him? And how do we also need to die? What little things in ourselves need to end? Do we need to challenge? Do we need to let go of in order for this new life to spring forth? So the new life in Jesus and the new life with our brothers and sisters around the world. So on this fifth Sunday of Lent, on Solidarity Sunday, I challenge all of you to reflect on this Paschal mystery, on how we can really fulfill Jesus' ask and request of us and demand of us that we die to certain parts of our being to fully live in His freedom. And I challenge myself as well in this too. Thank you and God bless.